It's Madden NFL 22 on EA Sports, and tonight's clash of conferences is just moments away. It's the Seahawks and the Steelers, and it's coming up next.
EA Sports coverage of the NFL brings us to the steel capital of the world, Pittsburgh, PA, at Heinz Field. This was the scene just a few moments ago as the Pittsburgh faithful were fired up by the hometown Steelers taking the field. They're all set as they'll match up with the Seattle Seahawks. Brandon Gaunt alongside, as always, my partner Charles Davis. And CD, in the few moments here before kickoff, let's give these folks at home a look at these two offenses by the numbers. What stands out to you?
Brandon, I just continue to be amazed by the analytics of the game, and it's an area where I continue to concentrate and study because I'm still trying to figure out how coaches and coordinators can really crunch the numbers and find where exactly on the field the defense is vulnerable. It's the game within the game. And if you really dive into it, it can be endlessly fascinating.
Here we go from Heinz Field as Chris Boswell tees it up and boots it away. Taken at the goal line. Oh, a good-looking return set up here. Now that should give him a spark. He's across the 40 to the 43. So out come the Seahawks now for their first possession. They'll be led by their ninth-year quarterback out of West Virginia. It's Geno Smith.
I still remember back in 2013 when he was drafted out of West Virginia. He was coming off of back-to-back 4,000-yard seasons for the Mountaineers. Hadn't seen as much game time in recent years, but at one point, a capable starter in the NFL.
Time, getting it to about the 46. They'll wind up getting a yard on the game's first play at second down.
Brandon, we talk all the time about those hybrid players, guys who could do more than one thing, and I think if you're playing strong safety in the NFL today, you are a true hybrid. Part linebacker, part cover guy.
And coming up, sticking his nose in the mess there and making a nice play defensively. Here's 2nd and 9, just a yard on that last run. Here's the first carry for Alex Collins. And he'll get this one across midfield and down into Steeler territory. Call it a gain of 5 that time, and they'll be left with a 3rd and about 4.
A quick burst there, and he nicely bit off a pretty decent gain.
And they'll look to avoid an early 3 and out here on 3rd and 4. Smith. And that is intercepted. Or was it? Wait, they'll say no. No interception. He did not keep the feet in bounds, apparently. So that's just going to be an incompletion. On 4th down, ready to punt, Michael Dixon. Ray McLeod deep for Pittsburgh. And no return here. Where will they spot it? They say just outside the 20-yard line. Steelers here ready to go to work for the first time. And the grizzled vet, Ben Roethlisberger, bringing him out now in his 18th season in the National Football League.
And it's not out of the question. It's not out of the realm at all to wonder if this might be the final season for Big Ben, either in a Steeler uniform or in the NFL period. He re-signed back in March saying, "It's my greatest honor to be a Pittsburgh Steeler and give my all for the organization." Had a big year in 2020, 33 touchdowns, just 10 interceptions, and led the Steelers to an 11-0 start. You have to think that he would love to end his career the way Peyton Manning and John Elway did.
And they get to him with a pressure as Roethlisberger goes down. L.J. Collier. It'll go as a loss of about 8 as he gets in there to drop him. And they get to him right out of the gate. And this defense hoping that that's a harbinger of things to come.
Yeah, when you give up a first-place sack, makes your quarterback wonder if he's going to go to the sidelines and talk with his offense coordinator and head coach and say, "Hey, you know that game plan we put together? We might need to change it right now."
Got to imagine the pass rush will be equally intense here on second down following the sack. It's 2nd and 18. Looking left side, and he's got a man. That's Johnson. They'll get 9 there as that sets him up better for 3rd down. So, Charles, defensively here, you're going up against a veteran quarterback. He's got a lot of know-how, a ton of savvy, but a guy who's not the most mobile of quarterbacks. What's the plan of attack?
You spend all week pumping up your defensive front. Your defensive tackles, your defensive ends, your outside linebackers, the guys who go after the quarterback the most, because you know that he's not going to run and beat you consistently throughout the game. You can rush more aggressively off the edge and even up the middle, because even if he evades you, he's not going to go very far. You have a lot more confidence going after him in the pocket. I see what they were trying to do there, trying to find some dead space in the middle of the field and take their shot right there. A really good idea, but it winds up incomplete.
On 4th down, the rookie Presley Harvin on to punt for the Steelers, as he's on to punt for the first time tonight. So possession goes over here on the punt, and it'll be Seahawk football, 1st and 10. Seattle's offense coming back onto the field, ready for their second drive. The crowd may be losing just a little bit of the edge after back-to-back punts.
They want some big plays. They want to see some offense. They want to see somebody break away, whether it's through the air or on the ground. Now it'll be interesting to see where the patience is on both sides. Each head coach, can you hang in there and not try and force something that could put your team in some jeopardy?
On 1st down, it's Smith. And his throw is incomplete. Freddie Swain was the intended receiver, but it'll be 2nd down. That pass just a little bit off. It looked like maybe he tried to force it in there.
Game speed, always different, no matter what you do in practice. Can't simulate it, right? So your decision-making, everything has to be a little bit quicker. Sometimes it can throw you off until you adjust.
Smith, an incomplete pass on 1st down. Now it's 2nd and 10. This is Collins on the handoff. And he's going to be taken down with a marker on the field. So let's see about the call. That hold coming from the middle of the line, the center.
And it's difficult for him because sometimes you've got people right over you, and as soon as you snap it, trying to get your hands up and block them, you can be a little bit late getting it done.
Now they face a 2nd and long following the holding penalty. Now Geno. That's complete to DK Metcalf. And they work this well upfield across the 45. A gain there of 21 yards.
Nice throw. Big man catches the football for a 1st down, and that big man, that's DK Metcalf, the 9th receiver taken in the 2019 draft class. I think if we redid it, he might very well be the first one off the board. 83 catches for 1,300 yards last year.
Now a 1st down throw. It's Smith. And his throw is going to be incomplete.
Well, it certainly appears that they're going to try and keep getting him the football. It's the 3rd time they've looked in his direction, Unfortunately, haven't completed one yet, but I'm not sure they're going to shy away from him. They feel like they've got something there, and they want to capitalize on it.
I think you're right. We're only in the first quarter, so a lot of opportunities ahead. After the incomplete pass, here now is 2nd and 10. Smith throwing again. Escaping the pressure right. And he'll slide to a halt here. Still a little shy of the first down marker. Give him 7 there on the tuck and run, and they're in better shape now for 3rd.
Partner, he was going through his progressions. Not there, not there. After about the 3rd one, he decided he better pull it down and run for it. And he slides down and avoids the hit for good measure.
Just beating the play clock, Smith. That's going to be complete to his tight end, Everett. And it's a fumble. And it looks like Steeler football. It is. Obviously, you got to hold on to the football, but I've got to give credit to the defense there. Good job of knocking it free.
Yeah, because a lot of the time we just blame the offensive players for not taking care of it. How about the effort of the defensive players knowing that guys are going to, and if they're good, anticipate the contact coming and try and cover up the football. And they still find ways to knock it free.
Big Ben and the Steelers with a 1st and 10 at the 45. Play action. It's Roethlisberger. This is Chase Claypool on the receiving end. And he's brought down. A quick 1st down pickup. Good start after going 3 and out on their opening drive.
And 2020 was a strong draft for receivers, and the Steelers got an excellent one in the 2nd round in Chase Claypool out of Notre Dame. 11 total touchdowns last year. Among rookies, only Jonathan Taylor of the Colts had more. A strong catch there.
And that is incomplete. Oh, the coverage a little too good there, and it's 2nd down.
Well, they've got man coverage on the outside, and my scouting report on these DBs tells me that they love to take matters in their own hands. They want man coverage, not zone. And there was good coverage there that forced the incompletion.
So now 2nd and 10 after the incompletion on 1st down. From the gun, it's Roethlisberger. Got an open man. It's McLeod. And he'll go out of bounds after taking it a little further down inside the 40. He'll get only 3 there, so it leaves him with a 3rd and 7 ahead.
If you're running out route, it's likely you're going to end up near the sideline. And what did we just see there?
Toe tap.
You got it. The benefits of practice. Toe tapping, foot dragging, picking it up, and making sure it was a catch.
On 3rd down, Roethlisberger fighting to stay upright. And a big loss here as he's taken down. Carlos Dunlap able to run him down for a 15-yard loss, and it will be 4th down.
And the Steelers normally have a good offensive line protecting Big Ben. They allowed just 14 sacks all of last year, the lowest total in the NFL. But in this one, they've given up 2 sacks already.
The Steelers send out their punter now as he'll kick it away for the 2nd time. And the kick's away as he angles this one for the sideline. And this will be out of bounds at the what here? The 12-yard line. And the ball now going back over the Seattle Seahawks offense. And they got across the 50 last time but fumbled and turned it over, so they'll be looking to have a short-term memory here, Mr. Davis.
Not only a short-term memory, but a whole lot better ball security. Because if they take care of the ball, continue to move it, their chances of scoring some points, they've got to feel pretty good about. They thought they had things moving in the right direction last time. Fumbles, they don't just affect you on offense, they affect your overall team because now your defense has to make that stand up.
Now Geno on 1st down. And the catch is made here by Tyler Lockett. And he'll be taken down, but not before he gets this football out shy of the 30 to the 29.
And that guy just keeps getting better. And I'm talking about Tyler Lockett, who just made that nice catch there for a first down. Now in his 7th season with Seattle, last year may have been his finest yet. And even 100 catches, many of them of the spectacular variety. Paired with DK Metcalf, a heck of a dynamic duo for the Seahawks.
Now it's Smith off the bootleg. That's complete to the tight end, Everett. And they've got it well across midfield down to the 40 before it's all said and done. Boy, 30 more yards and another first down.
Well, partner, I'm not sure how this drive's going to end, but how about the way they flip field position there? A nice attacking play that picked up a heck of a chunk of yardage.
So the big play moves him all the way across midfield to the 40 now for 1st and 10. Now Smith. That's into the hands of his tight end, Will Dissly. And he's going to get this down near the 30-yard line. This gain not quite as good as the last, but still over 40 yards between the two.
Well, so far, little to no resistance by the defense on this drive alone. 3 passes, 3 completions, 3 first downs. They're taking it to him, and it's paying off.
Again, Smith. He'll find Metcalf. And down inside the 15, shy of the 10. Another nice gain. That's now 30 yards between those last 2 plays.
That was a nicely run slant route, and what the receiver's trying to do is make the defender think he's going upfield for a deeper route and then breaks it off, usually after about 3 to 4 steps, and cuts towards the middle of the field. And now what he's trying to do is use his body to keep the defender away from the football and give the quarterback a really nice target.
An inaugural trip to the red zone here for the Seahawks. They've got a 1st and 10 at the 11. Throwing now is Geno. And that will be caught, but out of the end zone, says the field judge. It's ruled incomplete.
We know all the receivers go through those tiptoe drills, right, trying to get their feet down inbounds. But a lot of the times what we don't talk about is when they're up in the air and they catch the ball. You ever notice how they're reaching back with their feet, not just straight down, but back?
Pete Carroll none too pleased with that last call. He's going to throw out the challenge flag. They're taking a peek at whether or not those feet were in bounds, and obviously a big call here in the end zone.
And not just the feet. How about the hands? How is the ball possessed while the feet are hopefully getting down in bounds? That's what they're trying to look at to see if it all comes together.
After review of the play, the ruling on the field stands.
So not successful there on the challenge, and he'll have to be careful from here on out because he'll only have 1 challenge remaining. Smith, an incomplete pass on 1st down. Now it's 2nd and 10. They run with Collins, and he will score. Touchdown, Seattle. Alex Collins taking it in from 11 yards out. And the Seahawks have taken a 1st quarter lead. That almost looked too easy, and I think thanks goes to the offensive line for making it look easy.
Yeah, I agree with you totally on that one. I'm not sure how much everyone understands the preparations that go into a game for an offensive line, because there's a reason that running backs and quarterbacks give them big gifts at the end of a season after a big year. The consistency and the continuity it takes to know each other and execute their blocks is pretty impressive.
Myers connects on the PAT, and that makes the score 7-0. After the touchdown, here's Myers to boot it away. And they will not get a chance to return this one as it's through the end zone for a touchback. Pittsburgh offense making their way back out. They've shown precious little here offensively thus far as they try again with a first down now. Now the former fourth-round pick, it's Kalen Ballage. And not much to speak of. Call it a 1-yard gain up to the 26.
Yeah, things were pretty stacked up there in the middle of the line. A lot of bodies, not much space. I think ultimately he was fortunate to get anything out of that run.
Here's 2nd and 9. Here's Roethlisberger. And they get to him with a pressure as Roethlisberger goes down. Darrell Taylor just would not be denied. That's a loss of 7. And that is the 3rd sack this offensive line has allowed this first quarter.
Yeah, that puts him on pace. Let me do the rudimentary math here. To be sacked 12 times in a game, I know he's not going to go for that. I wonder if it's going to reshape what they decide to do on offense in terms of play calling.
Well, I can tell you what, when he popped up, shaking his head, frustrated right now behind center. So the sack, and now a 3rd and long situation for the Steelers and Ben Roethlisberger.
Let's go, defense. Let's get out the field, defense.
Here's Roethlisberger to throw. Quick hitter here, it's complete. They get only 4 that time as that leads us to a 4th down.
Excellent job there defensively. Gave up the underneath to the tight end on 3rd down, and they made sure that they did their job. Got him on the ground and prevented him picking up a first down.
Nothing here.
The Steelers send out their punter now as he's on to kick it away. And he's getting a workout here in this first quarter as he gets it away. 51 yards on the punt there. And the offense will take over with a new set of downs. Here come the Seahawks now, set to take over on offense. They've got a 7-0 lead in the football as well as they start out 1st and 10. They'll begin the drive with Collins. And he'll maneuver his way forward for about 4. 2nd and 6.
Well, on every play call, you realize it's not going to go for a touchdown, so a lot of your calls are setting things up for maybe later in the game, trying to establish the inside run with toughness now, hopefully get to the perimeter later, and let's face it, you could do worse than a 4-yard run on 1st down.
To throw on 2nd and 6, Smith. And his throw's going to be incomplete.
You can tell they wanted to get that ball downfield, but they had nothing working in the secondary, so he dropped it off to the running back. That one ended up incomplete.
So after the 2nd down incompletion, they'll come up now against a 3rd and 6. Geno now to throw. Out left, he's got it to Everett. Losing 9 yards there. And it also brings up 4th.
Well, that wasn't exactly a work of art, was it?
No, that wasn't a thing of beauty. That's just why I don't play in points per reception fantasy leagues.
Is that what they call PPR?
The receiver still gets a point there. Yeah.
Oh,
and you went that far back. No bueno.
Well, I'll tell you what. I wish I had their defense on my fantasy game.
So a change of possession here on the punt. And the Steelers will go on offense here, 1st and 10. We focus our attention now on the quarterback, Ben Roethlisberger. And I guess the question, Charles, is what's the formula for keeping him better protected? Because as we see, the protection, it struggled.
And normally what you get is renewed determination. When the big guy gets hit, that usually sparks people. Hey, we can't let this happen anymore. They take it personally. He's not supposed to be on the ground, but that hasn't been the case so far in this game. So maybe they've got to figure out how do they get rid of the ball faster to help out the offensive line so he doesn't get hit as much.
And we'll see if they can keep him off the ground now going forward. The Steeler offense here about ready for their next drive. Now the pass finding its way into the hands of Eric Ebron. And he'll be taken down, but not before they work it across midfield. That good for 21 yards on the catch and run.
You don't always expect tight ends to be big in terms of run after the catch, but after that play, he joins a growing band of players that's putting that stereotype right on its ear.
They'll throw on 1st down with Roethlisberger. And that throw behind his man. He missed him. Incomplete.
A lot of times it's that first read that you have. Maybe you get it in pre-snap, and he locked in on his target, but he was covered quite well, and that one's incomplete.
2nd and 10. Now it's Roethlisberger. He's going to air one out. And that will be incomplete. Trying to dial up the long one way out there, but it'll be 3rd down.
That's what you're going to need to do against those big receivers. You got to get in there and get physical with them. That time he got in close, got in tight, and knocked the ball away.
So now 3rd and 10. They had the big play to start the drive, but 2 incompletions since. Now it's Roethlisberger. Now Ben hit, and he lost the football. It's loose, and the Seahawks have recovered. He was under duress, surveying, trying to find somebody to get the ball out of his hands. In the meantime, the defense, they took it out of his hands.
And when the ball snapped, I know exactly what the defense is thinking. Get a sack, put him on the ground. But when you can also knock the ball free while doing so, oh, there's the bonus for you as a defender.
And out now come the Seahawks. And on the last go-around, they really couldn't get anything going.
They had to punt from deep inside their own territory, which means you're going to lose the field position battle as a general rule. What they're looking for now is a little more consistency, move the ball at least a few times on offense, get a couple of 1st downs, and hopefully flip the field.
Yeah, just something to build off of. That's what they're looking for here. So they'll come up 1st and 10 now from the 33. Following the fumble recovery, Smith looking for Lockett, and it's intercepted. Picked up by Cameron Sutton, and his guys will take over at the 30-yard line.
And that's a great example of ball skills right there, partner. You and I do a lot of games, and I can't tell you how many guys look to run with the football before they've intercepted it. So that's a nice job of focusing on the task at hand and coming away with the interception.
And Pittsburgh getting set to take the field. And last time the turnover on the fumble, and they were in enemy territory, so that had to be very frustrating. Down on the scoreboard here, can't do it again.
You nailed every part of what was frustrating. Down on the scoreboard, had a drive going, had pushed it past the 50-yard line, so they felt like they were in striking distance, and to come away with nothing, not a good feeling at all, to put it mildly. Now they can't afford to do that again.
Yeah, now can they get that bad taste out of their mouth here? And he'll be limited to a short gain up to about the 34-yard line. 3 yards on the pickup there, and it'll be 2nd down.
Give credit to the defense for stringing that play out, and they gave up no cutback angle. You know he was trying to dart through. No place for him to go. A nice job there, only giving up a 3-yard gain.
And they'll run for the first time with Najee Harris. And he'll get this only up to about the 35. A 1-yard gain there following the 3-yard pickup on 1st down. Well, we talk about defenders, specifically linebackers, keeping their eyes in the right spot. He had that eye down the entire time.
And you know that's not easily done because they throw a lot of misdirection at you. They try and fool you and get your eyes in the wrong place. But you're right about that one. He correctly figured that one out and made a really nice play.
Now a third down throw, but it misses the target, incomplete. So it doesn't look like they're going to be able to build off the turnover.
Well, the defense certainly did its part. It got them the football. But you're exactly right. It looks like they're going to have to punt this one away. And it's not a turnover, but doesn't it feel like one after grabbing the momentum with the defensive play?
Yeah, and they had all that momentum after getting the football and now zapped right back in the other direction. The Steelers send out their punter now as he's on to punt for the 4th time tonight. He's averaging just under 50 yards a punt as he gets this away. 47 yards on the punt that time, just 1 yard on the return. And it'll be Seahawk football as they take over deep in their own territory. Coming to the line here to begin their next drive, the Seahawks offense. And last time, 1-play interception, so this offense, they should be fresh.
That's a good way of putting it. And I can't wait to see what they decide to do with play calling, because a 1-play drive where you throw an interception, a lot of people think the very next time out, run the football, don't give them a chance.
Maybe play action?
I think maybe you go play action, show your quarterback, you get a little confidence in him, and let him fling another one.
After one, 7-0 on EA Sports. Seahawk football here to start quarter number 2 as they've got it with a 1st and 10. Here's Collins. Give him maybe a yard, quite the opposite from the previous big gainer.
It went right back to him, but he pretty much had nowhere to go on that play.
Yeah, the previous carry looked pretty good. That one, maybe he was a little tired. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe he should have tapped out and had a second back come in and maybe make that run. Who knows?
2nd and 9. Back to throw, Smith. And that is incomplete here.
Well, to me, there was no question about the intent there, and I think he was a little fortunate that the penalty flag didn't come out for grounding. But he'll get away with it and get another shot on 3rd down.
In need of a conversion on 3rd down. They had the big play to start the drive. Not much sense. Out of the gun, Smith. Catch is made by Metcalf. And all the way in. Touchdown, Seattle. DK Metcalf. 39 yards. And the Seahawks find a way to stretch their lead. And on that one, able to catch it, also able to have the wherewithal to take it in for the score.
And how about the phases of a successful catch and a completion of a play? Look the ball in, secure the catch, and then, of course, the run after the catch that ends up in the end zone.
Now Myers for the extra point. And it's good to make it 14-0. So that drive, 4 plays. And the Seahawks capping it off with a touchdown. After the touchdown, here's Myers to boot it away. The football will come out to the 25 as McLeod will not return it. Out comes the Steeler offense now, ready to see what they can do here. These guys had to punt their last possession, and that's become too familiar of a refrain. Too many of these drives just wound up going nowhere.
But you know how in baseball, when the pitcher gets a base hit and he's on base, they bring his jacket out to him to keep him warm? A lot of times the punter goes to the sideline, puts on sweatpants or a wrap over his leg to keep it warm. He might need a massage from the trainer right now from all the work he's getting.
Big Ben and the Steelers with a 1st and 10 at their own 25-yard line. They'll start on the ground with Balaj. And he'll manage to pick up about 4. It's 2nd down.
Well, at the end of all that hitting and hollering, it was a 4-yard run, so the offense is going to go back to huddle and feel pretty good about themselves. Defensively, you have to feel okay because you didn't let it turn into a bigger run, but the goal, shut it down for 2 yards or less. That's when you start to feel good about yourselves.
On 2nd down, it's Harris. And he is met at the line of scrimmage, and he goes down right there. No gain on the play there, so they're left with a 3rd down and 6.
Some of these play calls, I think they're a little conservative, but you know me, because it's easy to sit up in this booth, right, and make all the calls and think I'm going to be correct. But I would like to see them open things up, because otherwise this defense is going to gang up on the run and shut them down.
Got his man complete over the middle. It's Harris. And they'll get him down about 3 yards short of the 1st. That's going to bring up 4th down, only a gain of 2 there.
We can make this one pretty simple. Locked up all of his progressions downfield, forced to get it to his running back. But how about the way they ran to the football and knocked him down to force a 4th down?
The Steelers send out their punter now, as he'll come on for his 5th kick of the night. And he deserves a bronze leg as he gets this one away.
Let's go, fellas.
Geno Smith getting ready to go again here on offense. He's got the lead here in the 2nd quarter. He's thrown the touchdown, but also an interception. As a quarterback, does that interception, even though you're playing well, your team's got the lead, does that always stick in the back of your mind a little bit?
For the best ones, it just upsets them that they did that because they don't think there should be any blemishes on their record. They think that they're way better than that. So your confidence gets tested a little bit. Being able to go back out there, maybe throw another touchdown, that'll tamp that down in a big way.
Yeah, because he's looked pretty good to this point. The Smith's throw caught here by Metcalf. And he's going to get this one across the 30-yard line. A gain of 11 to kick off the drive, and it's a quick 1st down.
Now that was pretty. They executed that curl route versus zone coverage, and that changes things a little bit because against man, it's often a tight curl, sharply run route. Against zone, you're just looking for that open spot, that dead area, so you may curl it a little bit wider just to get to that place.
And usually a tight window. He fired a bullet in there for the completion. 72 yards for him on the ground so far tonight as he has been terrific in this 1st half.
Well, I think after that run, the defense is getting back in the huddle and looking at each other and maybe starting to question their confidence a bit. They gave up a significant run, 6 yards, and now you're saying to yourself, how do we stop them, and do I have enough confidence to make a play?
6 yards on that last play. Here's 2nd and 4. Now a give to Collins. Oh, nice move. And he'll be taken down, but not before he gets into enemy territory. A 14-yard gain there as they look to improve this 14-point lead.
We use the word relentless a lot with guys who are aggressive on the field. In this case, it really fits, doesn't it? How about his ability to break tackles and his feet never stop moving?
Operating out of Steeler territory now. Here's 1st and 10 at the 49-yard line. Now we've got whistles and movement up front. I think this is against Seattle. That's on the big guard, Gabe Jackson.
Still 1st down.
A false start backs him up 5, 1st and 15. A quick throw out to Lockett. And some room to work. Touchdown! Tyler Lockett. 54 yards. And the Seahawks are able to stretch that lead out a bit further. I don't think there's anyone who could possibly doubt how fast he could run on the open field. But if there were, he silenced those thoughts there.
And I'll tell you what a bird's eye view I've got here, because that was absolutely something else to watch. Not a lot of wiggle in that. That was catch it and go, and he used those wheels of his to absolute devastating effect.
Extra point up and through by Myers. And that makes the score 21-0. Just a 4-play drive that time. And it all culminates with a Seattle score. And after the touchdown, here's Myers to boot it away. The football will come out to the 25 as McLeod will not return it.
Here we go.
Pittsburgh's offense now heading back out onto the field. And some dangerous territory. You're already down 3 scores. A 3-and-out here, or an inability to put any points up. This one might be over by half.
Yeah, and what you also have to guard against is calling every play for a big shot downfield. You know, thinking you're going to get all these points back on one drive. You're not. And last time I looked, it's still the first half. I'm not saying you have ultimate patience here, but you also don't have to go ahead and force everything either.
Big Ben and the Steelers with a 1st and 10 at their 25-yard line. The drive will commence with a run by Balaj. And he's upended after a gain of 2 out to the 27.
That's it, baby. That's it.
Oh, that's a real nice job there by the defensive front. They just engaged and held their ground. But how about the guy who made the play? We often talk about whether they take a good first step or not. Many times you just don't take any step. Just get your feet moving, get your body going, and then once he made the read, he was able to make the play.
They'll break the huddle, come up on 2nd and 8 at the 27-yard line. Now Balaj. And they're able to get this one across the 35. 12 yards that time, and a Pittsburgh first. Although his reputation as a speedy runner precedes him, it's always fun to watch him work.
It is eye-opening, isn't it? Because when you see him get the ball and just go, in addition to that speed, it helps out his blockers. They don't have to hold blocks for long because he's just going to speed right past them.
So here's a 1st and 10 at the 38. They'll try the right side with Harris. And that play went nowhere. Losing yardage. It'll be back at the 36. It was Jamal Adams up from his safety spot to make the play behind the line.
With his size, he's a tough man to bring down, but they do a nice job there stopping his progress and not allowing him to get back to the line of scrimmage.
So their task a little bit more difficult now. 2nd and 13 that they're walking up on. Here's Roethlisberger. His throw incomplete. Some of the fans here don't seem too happy about what we've seen in this first half.
No, not at all, and I understand why. They look lethargic, out of sync, and it shows on the scoreboard.
These guys have punted 4 times already, and they're staring at a 5th, barring a conversion here on 3rd down. Roethlisberger will throw. Room to run past midfield. And he's going to be out of bounds, but not before he takes it inside the 40. How about 25 yards on 3rd down? They'll take it.
When you get a big tight end like this, sometimes it takes more than one man to bring him down. Oftentimes, your best bet, just jump on and hold on and wait for your teammates to arrive to help get him on the ground.
This offense finding its legs now. Here's another 1st and 10. Play action. It's Roethlisberger. Completion here to Claypool. And he's going to get this down near the 20-yard line. 17 more yards on that one as they keep the drive rolling.
And this has been a nice answer to the touchdown drive against them a few minutes ago because they've come out and reestablished the tempo. A nice throw there, and they're putting together a very strong drive as a response.
Black 20.
On 1st down, it's Roethlisberger. And a dangerous throw there, incomplete. He threw that into coverage. It was nearly intercepted.
They've given up a few first downs on this drive, but getting the incompletion there, that should give them something to build on and maybe turn the tide.
Here's 2nd and 10.
He can't hang. He's not going to give me.
Again, it's Roethlisberger. And he will go down outside of the pocket for a sack. Tried to get away, but could not. The 330-pounder Al Woods brings the boom on the sack.
Well, Charles, this has been something to watch so far. This is where you really feel for a quarterback. He's been running for his life in this first half.
Brandon, that's 5 sacks already, so you know he's got to be saying, can we get some more guys in here to block, please? Because if we don't, we're going to need another quarterback.
So the sack, and now a 3rd and long situation for the Steelers and Ben Roethlisberger. Now Roethlisberger. Now Ben hit, and he lost the football. It's loose.
Second time in this game, Charles, the ball has squirted out from his hands. Luckily, his teammate was there to pounce on it.
You're right. Got the lucky bounce, able to retain possession. You know, we often talk about the combine and why do we measure quarterbacks' hands. Is that really a big deal? It's for situations like this. Do you have the hands big enough and strong enough to hold on to the football while being jostled?
The Steelers send out their punter now, as he'll come on to kick for a 6th time tonight. And this one's out of bounds. Should be inside the 10, I think it is. At the 6-yard line.
Let's go old school there. That's absolutely a great coffin corner punt. Someone's put some time in working on that, hasn't it?
Seems like every year these guys get better and better. It's amazing how they can command that football through the air.
Yeah, they used to actually practice with hula hoops where they place them and try and put them there. Now a lot of guys use barrels on the sidelines to try and put the football in one.
On 1st and 10, Smith. That's complete to Disley, the tight end. 5 yards on the catch there, brings up 2nd down.
Not a big window to throw. Coverage wasn't too bad there.
Yeah, they had him under wraps pretty well, but somehow able to muscle his way open and catch the ball.
Five yards remain on 2nd down.
A give left side to Collins. And not much here as he'll get it to the 11, maybe the 12-yard line. 5 yards on 1st down, but now just a 1-yard pickup there on 2nd.
But not much on that run, Charles.
No, that's exactly the way to execute a run blitz there. They guessed correctly that they would move the ball on the ground, honed in on it, and stopped them. Mark that down for a win in the defense's column.
And the Seahawks on third down. They've only converted once in 4 tries. This is 3rd and 4. Now it's Smith. And he goes down. It's a sack. They get him back at his own 3-yard line. Cam Hayward, always a force, got back there for the sack.
Well, that's what they have to do more of defensively. Not just getting sacks, but they have to keep getting in his face, not let him get his feet set and deliver. He's been carving them up previously.
Yeah, already has a couple of touchdown passes. About time they put a few grass stains on that jersey. Now here's Michael Dixon as he's on to punt for Seattle. And he's able to get it out of there.
Let's go, boys. Let's go.
The Steelers offense now, they get ready to head back on the field. And this, you'd hate to say that a drive in the first half must end in points, but you're down 21-0. They're going to have to get something going fairly quickly.
I would agree totally with that, because if you're going to mount the comeback, it's going to have to come in bits and pieces. It doesn't just all come at one time, right? We haven't seen anything more than a 6-point touchdown ever in this game, right? So that's how it has to be done. Get points on the board now. Start your comeback, but you're exactly right. Let's get it going right here in this spot.
A throw left side to start the drive is complete. And the result here, a pickup of 8. Leaves him with 2 to go on 2nd down.
Nice rhythm throw there on 1st down. He located his tight end, made it a nice easy pitch and catch.
Hoping he can break a tackle or two. Wasn't able to do that there, but still good yardage. Only needing 2 yards on 2nd down.
Show that bench release and go. Focus, focus. Easy, easy.
They hand this off to Harris. And he's going to be stopped up at about the 47-yard line. It'll be a gain of 2 on the play, but they'll remain a few inches short here with 3rd down looming.
And this is why aggressive defensive coordinators love to blitz. It wreaks havoc because they end up taking their attention to the blitzers, freed up the D lineman to make the play.
The offense on 3rd down tonight, it's been a problem. Just 1 for 7 thus far. They're looking at 3rd in the nose of the football. Trying to pick it up on the ground with Harris. And he gets this one across midfield for the 1st down to the 46.
And that's why you spend a 1st-round draft pick on a running back. Not for just the fancy runs, but these dirty, gritty 3rd and 1s, 3rd and 2s. That's why you draft him.
Pretty
2 minutes remaining in this first half of football.
Hey.
We remind you that coming up at halftime, Jonathan Coachman will be alongside. He'll have highlights and analysis from Orlando of this first half of action. A draw play now, Balaj. And he'll take this ahead for about 4. 2nd down coming up.
On any running play that's called, they're always hoping that it's going to break big and go the distance. But when you get a nice gain like that, you're able to do so many things anyway. You can come back and run essentially the same play again, continue to move the ball on the ground, or you can decide to throw the ball now because usually you have the defense back on its heels.
A 2nd down pass play there, but it's incomplete.
To this point, I've been impressed with the work defensively. They have not allowed a lot of receivers to run free. And there's another example, another incompletion.
And now on 3rd down, they'll need to get it to the 36 to pick up the 1st.
50, quarter. Take both of them.
Roethlisberger. And too much juice. It'll be out of bounds, incomplete. Earlier in the quarter when the defense was keying on the run, you said offensively they need to open things up, take some shots downfield. Didn't work there, but they did it.
Yeah, I'm not going to change my tune now. I still think it's the right play because when you take those shots downfield, you open the eyes of the defense to what you could do to them, and that may open some things up for you offensively.
And this one will not be returnable as it sails out of bounds.
Let's go.
A look at the running back, the man out of the backfield as he gears up to go again. He's in his own second quarter, already closing in on a 100-yard game.
And that's the magic number for a running back. Anytime you get to that triple digits, that's all you're looking for. But he's got a chance to really exceed that in this one.
Yeah, he does. That's been the gold standard for a long time, hasn't it, that 100-yard mark?
It really has, and that never has to shift because it's in a game. It's a 1,000-yard mark. I'm wondering, since we've gone from 12 to 14 to 16 games, maybe we need to up that a little.
And Smith's throw into the hands of Lockett. And he'll get this up to the 34-yard line. Right off the bat, it's a first down to start the drive, 12 yards.
Let's just call it what it is. This has been a flat-out struggle for this defense all game long. They've really had a hard time slowing them down. And while I'm not big on speeches and guys jumping up and down, they might need their team leader on defense to get in their face right now and light a fire under these guys. They've got to start playing better assignment football and start getting guys on the ground.
From the 34 now, here's 1st and 10. Now Geno. He's going to go for a big play downfield. He's got a man complete. And all the way in, touchdown Seattle. Freddie Swain, 66 yards.
And the Seahawks are able to widen their lead here in this first half. And boy, CD, it's one thing to watch a great run, but when it's a great run with broken contact, it's like a cherry on top. That was a nice play.
Yeah, and this is one of the best runs you'll see. A lot of times on these long touchdowns, you'll say he gets into the end zone untouched, but not here. He fought his way through contact, and it barely even registered, and he just continued down the field all the way to the end zone.
And you can see the distance traveled there after the initial contact on the next-gen stats.
And after the touchdown, here's Myers to boot it away.
The football will come out to the 25 as McLeod will not return it. The Steelers taking over now late in this first half. And with a little under a minute remaining, they may try to put something together here just to try to cut into that deficit.
Throwing now, Roethlisberger on first down. Here's Johnson with a reception. And he'll be out of bounds right at the 40. 15 yards is the pickup there, and the drive starting very nicely. First down.
And Deontay Johnson has seen his share of targets increase in his first 2 years in the league, and last year finished with 88 catches. Continuing to work on grabbing everything that comes his way. A nice catch there.
So quickly all the way up at the 40-yard line. From the shotgun, it's Roethlisberger. And he finds his target, Ebron. Yeah, he's going to be out of bounds, but not before he takes it inside the 40.
It's another first down on what will be a gain of 21 yards.
You know, when I see passes like that, I'm reminded of something you and I talked about yesterday. Big Ben was a wide receiver the first 3 years of high school, sitting behind the coach's son, and then he finally got that opportunity. I think he's made the most of it.
It's always the coach's son, isn't it? But you know where it helps him? When he looks downfield, he knows what the receivers are going to do. He actually has wide receivers' eyes when he's throwing the ball.
On 1st and 10, it's Roethlisberger.
Quick completion here to Johnson.
Now the Steelers use the first of their 3 timeouts as they'll stop it with 40 seconds remaining in this first half.
White 80.
56, right there, 56. On the ball. Mike 56, Mike 56.
They'll throw on 1st down with Roethlisberger. Under pressure, and down he goes. They sack him back at the 36. The Steelers signal for the second of their timeouts, as it'll come with 36 ticks to go in half number 1. Pass protection has been a problem all night long as they come up facing 2nd and a bundle. Another try after the 1st down sack. Roethlisberger, and his pass incomplete.
Certainly appeared to take away his first read, and by the time he tried to look elsewhere and find an open target, the coverage was too good. That one falls incomplete.
An incomplete pass on that last play, and that means they'll need to come up with something here on 3rd down. Here's Roethlisberger to throw. Trying to lay one up deep. And he's caught on the sideline, but he's not going to have a 1st down. They say he was out of bounds, so a big call there. That brings up 4th.
This defense is not going to make it easy for you. They're a physical group, and we just saw it there on that play. They came in, made the contact, just as he's trying to haul it in.
And this is good. It was running out of gas there at the end, but he winds up getting just enough on it. And that drops a deficit from 28 to 25. So they do get to 3 points before they hit halftime, something to build on maybe.
Yeah, go ahead and raise the banner, right? But wave the flag. That's good. Got points, and now, as you said, they've got something to build on as they get ready for the second half.
After the successful field goal try, here's Boswell to send it away. And not wanting to risk anything here late in the half, he'll just take a knee and they'll bring the football out to the 25. Geno Smith getting ready to go again here on offense. He does have the 1 interception, Charles, but I think that's been more than offset by the 3 first-half touchdown passes.
I would agree with you. There is a blemish. But when you've thrown 3 touchdown passes to try and erase it, that's a little bit better than the ratio that all NFL coaches are seeking from their quarterbacks, and he's giving it to them.
They'll take the 3-1?
Every single time.
A little over 20 seconds remaining in the half as they'll line up here 1st and 10. Smith.
Oh, Metcalf, what a catch.
And he'll take this to the other side of midfield before going out of bounds. A good pickup there, 26 yards.
That is one heck of a catch right there. Got his eye on it the whole way and able to make the grab one-handed. Very nicely done, and for a nice chunk of yardage, too.
Now Geno on 1st down.
And that's complete to Swain.
And he's corralled at the 40, but not before picking up 8. Now whistles and a timeout with 3 seconds left in the first half. And this one is no good. He missed it. And this score will stay right where it is. So we've come to halftime after a very one-sided beginning to this one. As we send you down to Orlando, where Jonathan Coachman has our EA Sports Halftime Report. Coach.
Okay, right, Brandon. Thanks very much. And welcome in, everyone, to this slimmed-down version of the EA Sports Halftime Report. First up, though, let's run through the next-gen stats for the Seahawks in that first half. And our statisticians got through a couple of pencils already. This offense is on pace for potentially 500 yards in passing. That's pretty incredible. And meanwhile, for the Steelers, they weren't quite as successful throwing the ball as their counterparts were, but they still were able to move the ball reasonably well in that first half.
All right, Coach, thank you, and we welcome everyone back for quarter number 3. The Steelers going to get the football first here, trailing on the scoreboard as we are back underway on EA Sports. And that'll carry over the back line of the end zone for a touchback.
And the Steeler offense ready to get going here in this third quarter. And they have a mountainous deficit looming in front of them. It was really, Charles, a disaster of a first half. So where do they go from here?
Well, first thing they have to remember is that what's done is done, and there's no going back. And now you have to play this drive by drive. Obviously, come back in this spot, pretty unlikely, but you still have to go out, take pride in your work, and try and put something together here in the second half.
Big Ben and the Steelers with a 1st and 10 at their own 25-yard line. They'll start on the ground with Harris, and he's going to take this ahead for right around 3 yards, but no more than that. 2nd down.
Well, that's just a pile of bodies there, and that's when you kind of find out who's a tough guy, right? Who can stand up and make a play. It was only a 3-yard run, but for both sides, they had to walk away from that feeling like, okay, I can stand up when the going gets tough in here.
On 2nd and 7, Roethlisberger. Johnson's got it complete. And they get him down, but not before he takes it across the 40-yard line. It's a 1st down, his 4th catch of the game after having 3 in the first half.
Well, maybe this offense has learned something from watching their counterparts work. I'm wondering if their coaching staff said, let's do what they've been doing the entire game, because that's worked well. This offense, they have not looked particularly good all game long, but a nice throw there for a good gain and a 1st down.
All right, now, who's 30? Right there, 54 Mike. Here we go, here we go. 54's Mike, 54's Mike.
Now a 1st down carry for Harris. And boy, this defense again really making things tough on him as they stop him for no gain. They're losing here in the third quarter, maybe trying to get the ball outside, bust a big play. Obviously didn't work there.
Yeah, and while it didn't work, I really can't fault them for trying it. You and I have talked to the offensive coordinator, and we knew that was a place they wanted to try and go. And sometimes you just have to stick with it, because 2-yard gains turn into 20-yard gains as the game goes along.
56, Mike, 56, right there.
Now it's Roethlisberger. Able to hit his target, Claypool. Able to corral him right at the midfield stripe following that sparkling display of footwork we saw. They get 7 out of that, so they're left with a 3rd and 3.
Fired that one in there, able to make connection on a nice in route.
With those faster passes when they're going that fast, any hesitation as a quarterback that the deflection, if you miss, might be bigger and lead to an interception?
Yeah, and the deflection works both ways. Maybe a defender gets a hand in the way and it pops in the air, and sometimes you throw it so hard your receiver can't handle it, and he pops it up in the air for the defenders to grab as well.
But a moot point there as they were able to connect. It'll be a pickup of 4, good enough to earn him yet another 1st down.
Black 20. Check Black 54. Black 54. All day. Black, what's that? Just like that. Right there. 54. Right there. Right there. 54. Black, what's that?
On the give, this is Harris. And nothing much materializing there on the 1st down run. He'll get a couple, and that's it.
But you know that old expression, it's not my night? It hasn't been his so far. I don't know if the legs are a little bit heavy. Sometimes having to hang out all day and play doesn't exactly play to your advantage, but it's been a tough go for him.
Every time he looks up, somebody's there defensively. That was the same case on that play. From the 45 on second down, Roethlisberger looking middle, and it's incomplete.
Another attempt, another incompletion, and when I look at the scoreboard and where we are in this game, it comes to mind that they have to start getting the ball in the hands of their playmakers. Throw it to the guys that maybe can take a short pass and turn it into a long gain or make people miss downfield. They've got to have points, and the guys who can put the ball in the end zone, they're the ones that need to touch.
And they get to him with a pressure as Roethlisberger goes down.
It's been a tough one all game long for this offensive line. They're already down big, and now you know they're just going to come after the quarterback in a big way, don't you?
Yeah, they just can't get out of their own way right now. It's created an avalanche, and an avalanche is coming right on top of them. The Steelers send out their punter now as he's on here to punt it away. This is away, but boy, headed straight for the sidelines. And this one sails out of bounds. I think it'll be inside the 25, and it will. 24-yard line is where they'll spot it.
DK Metcalf for the Seattle offense about set to take over once again.
Good day for him so far here in the third quarter. He's hit pay dirt once, over 100 yards, but hey, it's the third quarter. He's thinking, I want more, right?
He wants more, and it just increases the confidence of his team because every play he makes, that means his quarterback is really feeling good about throwing the football. Probably feels like he can't throw an incomplete pass when he throws it to him right now.
Yeah, he's looked really, really sharp. The drive starts with a run by Collins.
And he'll maneuver his way forward for about 4. 2nd and 6.
Brandon, we just saw the benefits of being able to run the ball successfully. They pick up 4 yards on that carry. So now if you're a play caller, you can do just about anything you want. But on the defensive side of the ball, you're scrambling a little bit. Now you're behind trying to figure out, do I need to blitz him? Do I need to pressure him? How do I gain an advantage on this snap?
Going for Metcalf on the deep ball. That's caught inside the 20.
That's it, baby. We're going to work.
Well, he's been doing this for a lot of years. The arm strength still there, and he showed it off on that one.
And he made that look effortless, didn't he? I mean, he's had a great game throwing the football, and this is going to add to his yardage total in a big way. It's one thing to be accurate on your short and intermediate throws, but when you're hitting the bombs like those, look out.
And that one spanning an even 65 yards in the air, according to Next Gen Stats.
A real field flipper there as all of a sudden they've got a first down in the red zone. Slipped one tackle, but no more as he's knocked to the deck behind the line of scrimmage. Officially, it's a 1-yard loss. That's going to bring up 2nd and 11.
That was well played there defensively. 2 tight ends in the formation, which essentially gave him 7 blockers up front. Hard to imagine with all that size and beef that they could let a tackler through, but that's exactly what happened. A loss resulted.
Looking at a 2nd and 11 now after the loss.
Me and you all day, all day. I'm coming after you. I'm coming after you.
Geno now to throw. Drops it underneath for Collins. And he'll wind up losing yardage here back at the 21-yard line. Chalk that up as a 4-yard loss, and now it's 3rd down.
Well, Brandon, we could see that play developing, and they were hoping that he was going to be able to put a move on the first guy and turn it into a big play. But no such luck. The speed on defense continues to get better and better in the NFL. Pretty nice example there of those guys being able to run from their assignments and finish off that play.
Now on 3rd and long, they'll look to throw. Finding a safety valve here. That's complete. And they'll hustle up to stop him well shy of the 1st, right around the 15. That one good for only 6, and it leaves them with a 4th down.
Caught that look from you there, partner. I think we're on the same page on that one. Just his first catch. I think we both thought he'd be a little more active in the passing game. Let's see if that's the start of them trying to get the ball to him a little bit more here in the second half.
And Myers able to knock it through, and their lead will swell up to 28.
So tack on 3 more, though it's just a rare drive where they did not find the end zone.
Yeah, you're right about that, partner. But at this point, I don't think you're too concerned about that. You just want to possess the football for a while and drain the clock. If you can get 3 out of it, that's great too.
Myers now converted on the field goal try. Now he's on to kick it away.
The football will come out to the 25 as McLeod will not return it.
The Steelers offense now, they head back onto the field. They have been struggling. I would imagine at halftime they went through some possible changes. Well, those changes aren't working, so now where do you go?
I think that now it's much more in their head. And what I mean by that is just what you said. You've gone over the changes. I bet they were pretty clinical at the half, not too emotional. They might need to go to the emotional side because you've got to find something, some spark somewhere. And so far, just being calm hasn't exactly worked.
They need any spark at this point.
They turn to Harris to begin the drive. And not a whole lot of room to operate there on the first down run. He gets maybe 3.
He continues to struggle to find a crease to break off a big one and might need to just put that aside and just try and ram his way forward and get what he can.
2nd and 7.
From the gun, it's Roethlisberger. Able to complete this one to McLeod. And he goes out of bounds just shy of the 45. Pittsburgh getting 16 yards there and also a first down.
There's a nice pickup right there, and after watching that play, I'm thinking about all the lost opportunities that they've had so far in this game. But right now, just focus on continuing to move the ball the way they did on the last play.
On first down, it's Roethlisberger.
Completion here to Claypool.
And taking it across midfield and just shy of the 40. Back-to-back nice gains. That one for 14 yards and another first.
When the hitch route is run really well, that jab step off the line of scrimmage by the receiver, which is designed to back up the defender and give him a little bit of space, all you want there, get that space, catch the football, and then make a move and pick up extra yardage. And that's exactly what he got done there.
Ben's throw complete there to Johnson.
No gain there on the completion, 2nd and 10.
Well, that was a simple throw and catch, but even with that completion, 0 yards gained, so they're behind schedule on down and distance.
I think they were hoping to get it to him. He could make a man or two miss, but that window closed quickly.
Like 80! I don't think you got it, son. 56 the mic.
Throwing again, it's Roethlisberger.
And this throw a bit late as he couldn't reach back for it.
Let's face it, if you want to get back into the game, these are the kind of throws you got to hit. He's wide open right there. Got to be able to get it to him, don't you think?
And those are the throws that haven't been available to them every time he's dropped a pass. Yeah, that's a big miss. An incomplete pass on 2nd down. That muddles things a little bit here. This is 3rd and 10.
56.
Out of the gun, it's Roethlisberger. And that will be incomplete.
This has kind of been the story all night long, hasn't it? An inability to really get much done on 3rd downs, and it's costing them.
The Steelers send out their punter now, as he'll come on to kick this one away. And no return possible here as they angle this one out of bounds. Getting set to go again as we look at the back heading onto the field again. He's had a good performance, moved the ball effectively on the ground. Of course, he has the 1 touchdown.
And when you're able to move it as effectively as you've described, that leads to finding a way into the end zone, and now he's just trying to do it for a second time. And, of course, with that comes additional yardage.
Yeah, looking for additional yardage, and again, that second score here in the third quarter.
Let's go. Cougar 19. All right, D, let's all right, D.
Going on the ground with Homer. He'll get a nice chunk there on the first down run, and it's 2nd and 4.
Now, Brandon, that's the way you want to run the football. There should almost be quote bubbles above the offense right now. Bam, boom, biff. That's how they feel good about moving the football.
The last run got 6, now 2nd and 4.
Let's put that team on the clock. Check, go.
Throwing now is Geno. This complete to Lockett. And he'll be out of bounds across the 30-yard line. Only 3 yards on the catch. It's 3rd down.
I do have to admit, I like it when it all comes together. When the top part, catching the football, right, whether you're catching it with your hands or cradling it, comes together with the legs, in this case the feet, doing a little toe tap to stay in bounds and complete the catch.
And a great job by our crew on the camera shot. Love when you see the grass or on the field turf, those rubber pellets flying up. Great catch. And the throw there going to be incomplete. Not his best throw there, but where we sit right now in the third quarter, he's had a pretty good game throwing the football.
He certainly has, and it's not exactly at the point where we're doing 4-minute offense yet, but they've got to think about, I'm not going to say milking the clock, but understanding clock management here on out.
Now here's Michael Dixon as he's on to punt for Seattle. Pittsburgh set to take over again on offense. They are right now just ice cold. I mean, they have struggled big time in this game, and they're getting blown out. How do they adjust?
So tough because we always talk about it being a team game and you need all 11 working well together. But every now and then, partner, you need that one guy who can make a play against all odds that maybe can ignite things. And I think that's what they're looking for right now.
Yeah, you talk about going to your playmakers. They probably need to do it.
Find someone that you're used to touching the football that makes big plays and give them that opportunity to maybe wake up everyone else. And after that completion, you can understand why so many teams in the league are emphasizing speed on defense at every position. The tight ends have created so many tough matchups now. If you can't run with a tight end as a linebacker, this is going to be the result every time.
A good gain on first has him set up with 2nd and just a couple of inches now from the 29.
56 to Mike. 56.
Now Roethlisberger to throw. And that falls to the ground, incomplete. A nice job of bodying him up defensively, and now it brings up 3rd down. We saw this a lot in the first half, and it continues. These receivers just not able to get much separation.
So that means they have to win the 50-50 balls. They've got to go up with the defender and find a way to start coming down with them.
And this time, contact and another incomplete pass.
Check. Watch 54. Watch 54. Here we go. Here we go.
On 3rd down, here's Harris. And Harris is not going to get there. Great work defensively to stop him short. Call it no gain there, and it leads to a 4th down.
As usual, the hallmark of a good run defense, linebackers making plays near the line of scrimmage. Absolutely nowhere to run there.
The Steelers send out their punter now as he's on to kick it away. It'll be a 51-yard punt that time. And the offense will come back out deep in their own territory. Geno Smith getting ready to go again here on offense. He's played well. Good first half. He's continued that here in the third quarter. But my question, when you're a head coach, what do you look at stat line-wise for your coach? Do you go right to turnovers?
You really do. As much as coaches don't want to talk about that, that's where it starts. When I played in college, our first rule for every game, the team making the fewest mistakes will win. And that's kind of how they judge you. Do you take care of the ball, not turn it over, keep it in the proper hands, and give your team a chance to win?
That's what he's done here in this one so far. And nothing doing. He's immediately taken down at the line of scrimmage. Officially no gain on the play, and it's second down. They'll run this with Homer. And down he'll go at the 25. 9 yards, and that leaves him just short, so it'll be third and less than a yard.
Well, you certainly have to give a little credit here because they're playing this game now at their pace. This is ball control football, sustained runs, taking their time, and making it work.
Check, 93's the mic, 93's the mic. Crunch time.
They'll run the option on third and short yardage.
Smith with a first down and more. And he takes it all the way up to the 47.
Let's go.
Now we're going to get a timeout here as it looks like there's a Seahawk injured on the play. While the training staff takes a peek, we'll take a break. This is Homer. And he's going to take this one down inside the 45. Just what you want on a first down run. Call it 8 yards. And it's 2nd and 2.
And there we saw one of the downsides of blitzing during a rundown because sometimes you get out of your gaps. You don't fit the run quite as well because you're headed towards the ball carrier with abandon.
8 yards the tally on that first down run. Here's 2nd and 2. They'll try the air now with Smith.
That one to Swain, complete.
And he'll be brought down, it looks like right at the 40.
Personal foul, roughing the passer, defense.
No, what happened though?
Well, we looked at each other right away. We knew that flag was coming out.
And I always enjoy the conversation post because officials always tell you, I don't want to throw the flag, but you caused the play. You did it. I had to.
So now a fresh set of downs, 1st and 10 after roughing the passer.
You ain't doing nothing today. Check, 93's the mic. Let go. Here we go, here we go.
Now Geno. That's complete to Disley, the tight end. He's going to be out of bounds on what's going to wind up being the final play of quarter number 3. 1 quarter remains here on a Sunday night. We'll return with more after this. This is the NFL, and it's on EA Sports. Back now in Pittsburgh. A lot of folks starting to make their way to the parking lot. Their guys trail big here to begin quarter number 4.
Let's go, let's go.
Historically, this is such a tough, loud venue, but you can hear a pin drop right now. A lot of fans long gone, not used to seeing a lopsided score like this.
He can muster only a yard there, and they'll be left with a 3rd and very short. Pretty good job defensively. Thought he was going to get it, but they knew where that marker was, and they stopped him just short of it.
What it does is emphasize that strategic football and situational football is not just played on the offensive side, is it? Defense understanding, as you noted, where the first down marker was and making sure they didn't get there.
Smith on 3rd down. Throwing for his running back, and he's got him complete.
And the Seahawks are going to be set up with a 1st and goal as they get the conversion there on 3rd and inches.
Well, partner, nothing but praise from me for this offense. They have been tremendous all night long. They knew what they had to do to unlock the defense. And let's face it, this has been a master class in offensive football that we've been here to witness.
Now Smith. Feeling the pressure here and taken down. A sack back at the 7. Terrell Edmonds comes flying in from safety for the sack.
So that time, Charles, quarterback helpless really in the pocket in the face of a pass rush like that. They were on him instantly.
And they decided to go with the safety blitz there. And look, if that gets picked up, quarterback really has the advantage then because he'll have more time to throw the football and some wide open space. But when it doesn't, that's a guy who gets a free run into the backfield, and oftentimes the QB ends up on his backside as he did there.
And the next-gen stat's going to show that sack carried out in just 2.5 seconds from beginning to end.
From the snap, he certainly looked like he knew where he wanted to go with the ball, but surprise, that guy was covered. So that took his attention elsewhere to no avail.
3rd and goal as they look to pour some more salt in the wound.
Out of the gun, Smith. And he's going to go down. Sacked right around the 17. Cameron Hayward, his 2nd sack of the night.
Well, here's where having mobility sometimes can work against you as a quarterback. He thinks he can retreat and outrun the pressure. But that time, they zeroed in on him and took him down for a big loss, partner.
A really big loss.
Myers' kick is good. And that will just add 3 more to a lead that's already out of hand. So it's 3 more points, and that widens this thing out even further here in the 4th.
And you know in this league, you can never have enough points, but this widens it out, as you said, and now it's all about ball control, isn't it?
Myers now converted on the field goal try. Now he's on to kick it away. And this will be a touchback as that sails over the end line.
Pittsburgh offense making their way back out.
And right now these guys, they're shuffling a little bit, maybe doubting because 3 straight drives have ended with them punting the football away.
Yeah, so you start pointing fingers at each other a little bit, asking a lot of questions. What are you seeing? What are you getting? Maybe trying to narrow down your playbook a little bit and maybe get simpler rather than more complex in order to try and fashion together a drive.
Big Ben and the Steelers with a 1st and 10 at their 25-yard line. Roethlisberger will throw. And that is caught on the right sideline, but out of bounds, says the line judge. The throw took him a little too far. It's 2nd down.
They'll probably spend a little extra time dissecting the game film after this one. I think the part of their plan was to hit him over the top of the deep ball. They've been unsuccessful all night.
An incomplete pass leads to 2nd and 10 from the 25.
Mike 56, Mike 56.
Now it's Roethlisberger.
The throw for Claypool is intercepted.
Picked up by Sidney Jones. And they're going to be set up in the red zone at the 15. The utter domination here just continues. This defense, I don't know what more we can say all around about their performance.
Well, it certainly feels in this game like maybe they're facing a Canadian defense. 12 guys on the field. It feels like there's an extra on every snap because they have really struggled to make headway through the air.
Yeah, we will get another look at Seattle's offense. And after the interception, they are sitting in an even better spot with the ball and a comfortable 4th quarter lead. Line of scrimmage, the 15. It's 1st and 10.
Out of the gun, this is Collins. And they get to him quickly here as he stopped right around the 13. Just a yard on the pickup there, and it'll bring up a 2nd and 9.
Whenever we talk about the best strong safeties, one word constantly comes up, and that's instincts. Being able to diagnose run or pass and make the appropriate moves.
He crashed down hard there. He was ready for that running play.
Check, 93's the mic. Hey, go.
They go again with Collins. Absolutely nobody fooled there. He's going nowhere fast as he stopped behind the line of scrimmage. A yard in the wrong direction makes 3rd down tougher. 3rd down and 9.
Brandon, it's clearly a running situation when you're up in the 4th quarter. They're going to have to stack the box and make it difficult for them to move the ball.
Made it very difficult right there. Now they need to repeat that effort.
Yeah, bring 7, 8, 9, whatever it's going to take to slow them down.
The Seahawks on 3rd down. They're hitting at just 30%, 3 for 10. This is 3rd and 9. On the give, this is Collins running left. And this play goes nowhere. Losing yardage back to the 15. 4th down now after a loss of 2.
An interesting and intriguing decision there defensively because they kept extra DBs on the field despite seeing the multiple tight end look that came out for the offense.
I thought they were going to switch out of it. I didn't know if they felt they didn't have time or what the case was.
Well, in any event, the extra speed allowed for great penetration as they stuffed that one behind the line of scrimmage.
And Myers able to knock it through. And they're sitting pretty now as the lead grows even further. The bottom line, tremendous starting field position, really squandered there as they wind up going backwards and then come up with just 3.
Well, getting the 3 turned out to be important. I can imagine the head coach when he ordered the field goal. Please salvage something out of this drive. That was not fun to watch.
Myers now converted on the field goal try. Now he's on to kick it away.
The football will come out to the 25 as McLeod will not return it.
And the Seahawks defense heads back out there now. They got a little steam following the interception the last time they were out there, Charles.
And they wanted to keep that going now because once you get one, he wanted to multiply and turn into a bunch more. And right now, they're putting up their version of a no-fly zone.
No-fly zone. I like that. We had a flyover before the game.
Yeah, but this time, they would intercept it.
Big Ben and the Steelers with a 1st and 10 at their own 25-yard line. They go back to the air here after the INT on the last drive. And he's got the hook up to McLeod. And they'll get him down after a pickup of 8, 2nd and 2. Ahead of the chains now, 2nd and 2. To throw here, Roethlisberger. Throw left side, complete to McLeod. 6 yards the pickup, and that's a 1st down.
Like 80. You think it's the mic? Think you gonna get this, boys? You think you gonna get this?
Now Roethlisberger. Able to shake him off. Now Ben hit, and he lost the football. It's loose, and the Seahawks have recovered.
All right, you've had to put up with me in this booth. I'm going to try and be simple this time and succinct. It simply has not been their night.
No, I think that fumble's kind of indicative of how this whole evening's gone, isn't it?
Without a doubt. I mean, they've tried, but nothing has ever really taken throughout the game. That's why they're down so big.
Here's a first down run with Collins. And only a yard this time as he's taken down right around the 26.
Brandon, I've got to think this offensive line has got some smiles on its faces. And I know it sounds crazy, but they practiced for this back in training camp. They knew they'd be in situations where it'd be extra defenders in the box coming after them, trying to keep them from locking down a game. Right now, they want to show the world they're up to the challenge.
And again, it's Collins. And he'll get this pretty close to a first down as he's tackled at the Steelers' 18-yard line. 98 yards on the ground for him now as he has gotten better, really, as the night's gone on.
That gives him 98 yards in this game, and he's got to feel pretty good about that, but the entire offense does. The big thing, though, Brandon, they've got to get to 100, though.
You think he knows he's at 98?
I think someone has told him by now, and here's the thing. Getting to 100 or more is tangible evidence that you've had a nice day running the football, and that's what his offensive line wants for him and for themselves.
2 yards and able to get the first down in the process.
And that last carry puts him right at 100 yards for the game. So how has he done it? Because he's been patient, followed his blocks, let everything develop, and then burst through for big gains.
So from the 17 now, here's a 1st and 10.
Now a give to Collins. And he's able to get this inside the 10 now to the 9. It's a 7-yard carry to set them up with a 2nd and 3.
Oh, that's one to warm the hearts of all those old-school football players, isn't it? Tough, hard, gritty run, got behind his pads, bowled over a few people. Look at that one, right up the gut.
Saw it through 3 quarters, no reason to lighten up now. Throwing on 2nd and 3, Smith. And he finds Lockett in the end zone. Touchdown, Seattle.
That's the way you make it spin.
Tyler Lockett, his 2nd touchdown of the night. And the Seahawks capitalize on the short field as they take it in for 6.
You have fun with this one, partner?
I am. I mean, he's been fun to watch under center.
We always talk about, getting to the next level, right? When we see people get into the zone. This guy's in the master class right now. What a performance he's putting on, just carving them up.
4 touchdown passes. Carving him up is right. Seems like everything he throws is going to be a completion and going in the end zone. Myers connects on the PAT, and the lead will swell by 1 more. And after the touchdown, here's Myers to boot it away.
The football will come out to the 25 as McLeod will not return it.
Now the Steelers offense gets ready to get back onto the field. And the turnover last time, that's sort of been symptomatic of their struggles here in this one.
Big word. I like it, though, because you're exactly right.
You like that, don't you?
All game long, they've struggled moving the ball, turning it over on the last possession. Is that word again, symptomatic?
Yeah.
I like that.
Your analysis, symptomatic of the success of this broadcast.
What I like is that you gave me the word, and I just kept using it.
Come on, baby. Come on, let's go. Mike 56. Mike 56.
Throwing now, Roethlisberger on first down.
Throw left side, taken in by Claypool.
And from the 25, they work this to the 29, a gain of 4. One thing I think that's safe to say defensively, the tackling's been really good.
And because of that, it's been very, very hard for them to move the ball because you're not getting the benefits of run after catch. They're tackling them almost on the spot. That means you have to run extra plays, harder to move it.
Hey, pick your game up.
From the 29, Roethlisberger. Now big hit, and he lost the football. It's loose. But it looked like the Steelers were able to recover, and they will indeed hold on to the ball.
Sex all day, baby.
A lot of bad news on that play for them, wasn't there? Lost the football, lost a lot of yardage, but I think the good news outweighs it. Able to retain possession. That was big for them.
So possession still theirs, but now they face a third down.
50 seconds to Mike. 50 seconds to Mike.
From the shotgun, it's Roethlisberger.
Able to hit his target, Claypool.
And he'll go out of bounds, looks like right at the 15. Just a 5-yard pickup, but it leads to 4th down. He's been a busy man here in this one, and they're showing off some nice footwork to stay in bounds.
And with those types of catches and the volume that we've seen in this game, wouldn't you keep him busy as well?
I would.
Of course. You got to keep throwing it to him. He keeps making plays.
So they're forced to punt on 4th as this one's away. Let's take it inside his own 40. It'll go as a 42, make it a 43-yard punt, 6 on the return, and it'll be Seahawk football, 1st and 10. The Seattle offense now set to come back out on the field. Well, this ball game certainly has gotten a little out of hand. This is normally when they say you got to fill. This is fill time for guys like you and I. But, to be frank, just a dominating performance. Really impressive what we've seen.
It is, and I'm glad that you went in that direction because otherwise we're going to have to talk about the museum tour we took yesterday.
Which was also impressive.
Which was also very impressive. But this game, how they've done it, offense, defense, special teams, they put it all together, and I got to tell you, I am beyond impressed by what I've seen from this team.
There to stop him, Terrell Edmunds. Run blitz there defensively, something we might see more of here in the 4th quarter.
I think we'll see a lot of it, and the difference between that and a pass blitz, you're just trying to get to the quarterback. You're trying to scheme someone open who will get to the QB and make sure he gets on the ground. In a run blitz, you're actually trying to cover up gaps, trying to cover up holes so they can't run the football.
And taking it across midfield and inside the 45.
120 yards rushing for him now as his big night continues.
Well, that's a carry they have to be satisfied with, and throughout this game, they've been satisfied with what he's given them. Whenever they've needed a big run, a 1st down, he's the guy they've turned to. And it doesn't matter what the defense thinks. They feel like they've got the confidence to keep handing it to him and keep picking up good yardage.
18 Cardinal, 18 Cardinal. Tight end right, tight end right. 3 down, 3 down.
They'll try and run some clock here as they keep it on the ground. Flashed the stick skills, but didn't get a ton from it. Stopped short of the 35. 7 yards on the pickup there, and it'll leave them with a 2nd and 3.
I know that every now and then we get in those meetings with coaches, and you almost want to roll your eyes when they talk about staying on schedule when they're moving the football. But would you say a 7-yard run is ahead of schedule?
4th quarter with the lead, you love that, don't you?
No doubt about it, because staying on schedule is trying to get 4 downs on 1st down. They did that plus 3.
On 2nd down, Collins, nothing doing. Barely able to muster a yard to hit the 35.
In order to play really good run defense when you're playing a 3-4, those 3 guys up front, the nose tackle and the guys they call the defensive ends, they're usually big, big people because they're going to have to eat up a lot of blockers because it's usually 5 on 3. And when they do their job well, guys who play on the inside, those inside linebackers, they're able to just roam and hit.
Here we go. Let's get him. Time to go to work. Let's go. Bring it over.
So it's Seahawk football as we march toward a conclusion. They've got a 3rd down now as they look for one more 1st down to help salt this one away. And he gets it to the 32, good enough for a 1st down.
Come on, baby. Let's go.
Well, someone's been having a good game so far, and you know something? A lot has been power running. They decided to turn him loose again on 3rd down, didn't they?
They did indeed. He delivered the tough yards. And not totally home free yet, but it's looking good as they come up 1st and 10. How about this? They'll try the option, left side. And he's got this down almost gets to the 20 before he's dropped. The decision to keep it turns out to be a good one. 11 yards in the first down.
Well, that's the fear any defense has when the quarterback gets involved in the running game. You don't usually account for him, and he's hurting them today.
Yeah, he's been very involved in the running game. Defensively, when you got the coverage good downfield, how do you account for him, though?
Occasionally, you start to spy him. Take someone who has the same agility, who can dance with him, run with him, and try and keep him in the pocket.
Yeah, it'll be especially critical here as we come down the stretch in the fourth.
We got three, fellas. We got Rocco switch.
They'll run on first down. Collins. And he'll be taken down near the 20 at the 21. Just a yard on the first down carry, so it's 2nd and 9.
That was a really nice play, able to stack that one up. When they get back in the huddle, he's got to tell his guys up front, great job. They kept people off of him, allowed him to run free and make the hit on the runner.
Filled the gap nicely, kept him to just a 1-yard gain. Well, Charles, it's one thing to win. It's another thing to win and put up the amount of points that they did. Boy, were they clicking on offense.
They can't help but feel great about themselves, can they? I mean, what a game to put up that number of points, continually feeling like they're moving the ball and things are working and clicking. They think that they can bottle this and carry it with them.
And as an offensive coordinator, you just don't think you can do anything wrong. Whatever you call, run, pass, it's all going to work.
That's called being in the zone.